Welcome, my dear students of class 10, to my history class. Today's lesson, which I already mentioned you and started teaching, the Muslim League. Today's points are, as mentioned here, policy of divide and rule, the rise of Muslim political power, establishment of Anglo-Oriental Mohammedan College, role of Theodore Beck, establishment of various organizations. First point, policy of divide and rule. Who was the architect? Who was the architect of that policy of divide and rule in India? It was due to the British government in India. This policy or new policy, divide and rule, was adopted. Now why? In order to weaken the unity between the Hindus and Muslims, the British adopted the policy of divide and rule. Besides, the British also thought that the Muslims should be given equal opportunities like the Hindus. The Hindus were given much more advantages, conveniences in compared to the Muslims. But the Muslim community was actually very much arrogant towards the British. The Muslims realized it that the Britishers were forced, from power. They were forced to leave their power in India only because of the British. The British forced them. The British shifted them from power. Earlier, they were the ruler of India, but last Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaulah, he was actually independent Nawab. He fought against the British, but they conspired against Sirajuddaulah and shifted him from power. Ultimately, he was killed. And the rule of the East India Company was established in India by winning over the bureaucrats and local, zamindars. The Muslims did not forget it. That's why the Muslims were determined to take a revenge against the British. The Muslims didn't forget it that the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was insulted at the hands of the British, and in front of him his two sons were shot and killed. So, and then Bahadur Shah Zafar was sent to Rangoon, while staying there, Bahadur Shah Zafar died broken heart. The body of Bahadur Shah Zafar did not hand over to their family members, according to some historians, but there is controversy because many people were not satisfied. The people of India were not satisfied with the treatment for Bahadur Shah Zafar. Bahadur Shah Zafar was insulted, and his dishonor, whatever the Britishers made for Bahadur Shah Zafar, the people of India never forgot it. So these were the Muslims considered the Britishers to be their enemies. That's why they never cooperated with the British and joined hand with the Hindus and fought bravely, collectively, in order to defeat the British. And right that moment, the Britishers decided to establish cordial relationship with the Muslims. That's why the Britishers had been eagerly waiting for such a leader who could try to make the Muslims understand with persuasive arguments that Western education was very important to them. Otherwise, they would be unable to have jobs under the British administration. The Britishers were trying to give them such an opportunity, and ultimately one leader came forward for the assistance of the Muslims. Who was he? He was Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan. Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan, establishment of Anglo-Oriental Mohammedan College. Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan was an MA, and being an educated person, Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan established Anglo-Oriental Mohammedan College at Aligarh. It was a college not only for the Muslim people but also for other community. And Theodore Beck was appointed to be the principal of this college, and in consultation with Theodore Beck, by Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan realized that education, receiving Western education was very important to the Muslims. Unless they would receive Western education, they would never be able to be appointed as an officer in the British administration, but the Hindus. That's why Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan tried his level best to make them understand the basic need of receiving Western education. The Muslims realized it, that Sayyid Ahmed Khan's view was really practical, and they should receive Western education. They should learn English properly. Beg gradually brought a change in the atmosphere of the college, making it oppose the Indian National Congress. Theodore Beck tried to make Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan understand that the Hindus had established their own political organization, the Indian National Congress, and Sayyid Ahmed Khan should establish other political organization for the Muslims. That's why Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan was motivated by the principal Aligarh Anglo-Oriental Mohammedan College, Theodore Beck. That's why Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan established a number of organizations, political organizations. But this establishment of various political organizations gave an opportunity to learn Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan and his temperament. The Muslims who did not have any knowledge of Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan, now they were able to realize that Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan was none but a real leader of the Muslims. So they must hear him, otherwise they would lose such golden opportunities. That's why, in order to avail that very golden opportunity, they decided to hear the views of Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan. Sayyid Ahmed Khan gained knowledge, Sayyid Ahmed Khan gained confidence from them, and one after one he established a number of organizations. The Mohammedan Civil Service Association was set up under the guidelines of Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan in order to provide higher posts for the Muslim educated people. The Indian Patriotic Association was also established. It was established as a political association and aimed at safeguarding Muslim rights in British India and preaching loyalty to the British government. Next one, in the year 1887, Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan convened the Muslim Conference with sole purpose and keeping people away from the Congress, because in the beginning I told you Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan tried to make the Muslims understand that Indian National Congress was a political organization for the Hindus, not for the Muslims. That's why the Muslims should have their own political organization. That's why they must keep away from the Congress and must hear his voice. The Mohammedan Defense Association also was established in the year 1893, and it gave Muslims a distinctive political identity, and that's why the idea of establishing another defense association, a Mohammedan Defense Association, came in the mind of Sir Saeed Ahmed Khan. By doing it, Sir Saeed Ahmed Khan, gained confidence from the Muslims. The Muslims also felt that Sir Saeed Ahmed Khan, what he was doing, he was doing in the interest of the Muslim community. That's why they became, the great followers of Sir Saeed Ahmed Khan. Up to this, my dear students, next day, the remaining part will be discussed. Thank you. Thank you.